Hey, Peter Schaefer, we are live. It did not go to my Twitter account, so we're going to have to retweet this out there. I didn't like it for some reason.
Put it there, and then I'll retweet.
Yep. Give it one moment here. We'll get the link out there.
I'm going to add CJ.
I think CJ Anderson, running back extraordinaire, is in the waiting room now.
Right. So what do? I say, add the stage.
Add the stage. We're doing a test drive here for Peter here, CJ, as well. So if buttons are clicking in the background, Peter's learning how to drive the studio. Hey, I'm the big head. He made me the big head.
How do I switch the big head?
So there's those icons right below the main screen there where you have the layout. So you want to do the one. Yep, there we go.
You want P handling this?
Yeah, I mean it's like we got the student driver sticker on the car today. Like, hey, be patient. We have a student driver. So let me. CJ, it didn't go live on my Twitter for some reason. So I'm gonna post the link in YouTube here. If you're watching, playing along, this is like CU's got a bye week. We're kind of doing the student driver thing. So I'll figure out why Twitter didn't go live here in a second, but I'll post the link out there.
Are we re-living to do the show, or are we live doing the show right now?
We're live right now, CJ.
Oh, my bad. What's happening? I'm sorry I'm late. I had a call, right? Some good fellowship this morning. And, your boy C. Titter is here.
Nice.
Game day coming down to us tomorrow, you know what I'm saying?
I should have worn my Miami gear, but I'm in the mountains. I didn't bring it because it's usually warmer gear, and it's kind of cool up here in the mountains. So hey, CJ, I was trying to set up today's show as like a quarter life crisis. Like, I don't know if you've ever had, you're not maybe midlife crisis yet. Peter's maybe had a midlife crisis. I'm midlife. It's like that quarter life crisis. You're 25. You're going, what am I doing? I'm getting out of college. What's life supposed to be like? What's it supposed to look like? The Broncos right now, they're 2-2. I know it's not a true first quarter now that we have an odd number of games, but traditionally it's the quarter season. The quarter season's through. It's the quarter life crisis for the Broncos. And all of a sudden there's a guy, a really nice new car that looks like it's available, a wide receiver out of Vegas. They're like, ooh, maybe we should get a new receiver here for Bo Nix to play with. Maybe get a new toy. It's expensive. We don't really have the money, but it's the quarter life crisis, CJ. Should are we getting the new car for the Broncos, the new wide receiver?
Nah, the Raiders are not trading Davante Adams within the division. Like, it will be on their smart behalf not to do it, right? I mean,
right.
If they do it right, some GMs, first if they do it right, that agent will be probably, no disrespect to my man Mr. Schaefer over there. But that agent will probably be the greatest agent of all time if you can get him traded within the division.
In the division?
Yeah, in the division.
Where do you think he goes?
There's rumors all over, right? I think the question is, what are teams willing to give up for him, right? What are the Jets willing to give up for him? Because obviously you got to assume Aaron Rodgers is orchestrating that. What is the Saints, right? He wanted to go play with Derek Carr. So what is the Saints willing to give up for him, right? But then, you look at one of the strongest owners in the league and GMs, Jerry, right? What is Jerry and the Cowboys, what are they willing to do to give him up? But I don't know, right? I don't know where he goes for the simple fact that the relationship is so bad, and you would know this better than me, Pete. Is the relationship so bad as an agent? You're like, man, I can get him out of here for a third, fourth, fifth round pick, which we all know he's more valuable than that. But is the relationship so bad they just want to get him out of the building, or?
No, they want to get capital.
Yeah, they want to get some value for him.
What should Peter? What should they get for
round pick?
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, so for you neophytes, you would think so.
You don't think this year's second, next year's second? That's what I would be trying to do.
What the deal is, though, when you get a player like this, he's got a $36 million salary for next year. Okay, so he's not seeing that. He's 31 years old. No one's paying him 36. So now you got a situation where it's a one and done, because whatever team that's going to get him is going to, you're going to have to chop him next year or give him a haircut.
Right.
Right. So therefore, doesn't necessarily have a no trade clause. He does. All right, because he's going to sit there and they say, "Well, we're going to trade you to the Carolina Panthers," and he's like, "No, you're not." You go, yeah, we are. We can trade you. He says, "Okay, good." You have to have, because he's got a base salary of 17 and change, and we're in week 4, you have to have 12 or 13 million dollars right now on your books. You have to, when you trade for a player, have to have the money on the books the day that you trade
The
him.
day that you trade him.
Right. Now, after that, you can then redo his deal and reduce the cap number, whatever. But you need to have the money on the day of the trade. So therefore, if a team doesn't have the money and they need him, they've got to play ball with him. So
Yeah.
he'll say, "No, I'm not playing ball because I don't want to go to the Panthers." Not picking on the Panthers, just using him for the hypothetical. That's number one. Number two, no one's going to give up a 2 for 1 year
For a 1 year guy.
rental.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So therefore, you're going to sit there and say, "Okay, what are we going to do next year? We're not paying you 36. What about 20? What about, boom, boom." And he'll say no. If he doesn't want to go to that team, he will say no. So technically, because of the circumstances, he does have a no trade clause.
Right. I would, if he was like, if this was him in Green Bay, 1 year rentals will work for teams who are Super Bowl contenders, right? Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, right?
Correct.
People
Well, yeah, right. But there's two prices.
But they're too,
How much
yeah. How much? That I agree with you, but I would think 1 year rentals will work better for them. Obviously, he's not going to the Chiefs; they're not trading him within the division. But like, does Bills and Baltimore think about like, hey, this might get us over the hump? We bring a guy in like this.
What about Dallas?
If they got the money.
What about Dallas? Do they have the money?
Dallas, well, Dallas can always find the money if they wanted to. But again, and Jerry's not. So you're asking a team to give up a 2 or something close to 2 or 3, which I don't think anybody's going to a 2. I'm just saying I just don't see it happening for a 31-year-old receiver. All right. Now that doesn't mean you can't get close to a 2, and maybe it's 2 and maybe it's 3 and a player or something like that. But that's what's happening. All right.
What about the Saints with that Derek Carr? Does he want to go back?
The Saints have $2.7 million in cap room.
Okay, so they would need to get clear up somehow.
They would have to do a deal with the Raiders and then a deal with Davante to get the deal done.
To get the deal done.
Yeah.
Too many moving parts. Not enough.
Well, no, I wouldn't say. I don't say it's impossible, but it's a lot. There's a lot of pushing.
It's a lot that you got to get to do. Right.
Right, and then the Saints, they've, from an agent's perspective, they've been fantastic. They're constantly pushing money forward, which means they're spending more money. They're all in. All right. So clearly they're having a great season this year. Your boy Clint's there and Rico, the offense is on fire. Boom. And he goes with Derek Carr. So if you're the player though, and you want to get out of the Raiders, purgatory in your mind, you want to go to a place that you can have the best possible season and set yourself up for free agency. So if the teams that are involved are the Bills, the Saints, the Jets, the Steelers, you threw Dallas in, Rob, the Niners, everybody thinks that they might play. Where do you go, CJ?
Where you go, for me, you go where you can win. So let's take this all the way back to 2018, right, Pete? I was not happy in Carolina. You knew that heavily, based on what they told us, right? I asked you to get to see if we can get some trade value.
Right.
They hardball and gave me a lot of carries the next week. I had a touchdown against Cincinnati. We played at home. I played really well. So that kind of like masked me. And 2 weeks later, I'm still upset. Well, things happen again. I'm still upset. I'm trying to get out of there. Pete, I think we had something with the Packers. I'm not sure at that time. You can recall it better than me. But they end up not working, and then we end up actually being a release, and they end up releasing us. And obviously, we went to the Rams, and the rest is history. But in that position, I was trying to go somewhere where we can win a championship. I didn't think we chose Carolina because we thought we could win a championship there. We ended up realizing we couldn't win a championship there. I don't know if that's on Davante's mind. For me, it was about winning championships. Obviously, I played in 2 already and had one.
Well, no, I think that what you're dealing with right now is a situation where you got to go to show that you still got it. And especially in Davante Adams' case, 2 years ago, arguably, and maybe we could have that discussion now,
Yeah, 2 years, he's arguably the best receiver to play in the
best
game.
receiver in football. So right now, who's the best receiver in football if it's not him, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a couple cats you'll take over him right now.
Justin
Jefferson is one of them. Tyreek Hill is another one of them. Right, but Justin Jefferson for sure, right?
All right, Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is another one. CeeDee Lamb is another one.
Ooh, hold up now. Is he? See what I just did there, CJ, at the bottom there?
Yeah,
look at that. He's learning how to drive.
Yeah, I love it.
See that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking production skill and what happened, right?
I think CeeDee Lamb's a great player. I think he's in that second quadrant.
Wow.
Why do you say that?
To me, what a true number one receiver is someone that makes you change what you do. Okay? So, if I'm Vance Joseph, I'm the defense coordinator for the Broncos, and you got Jamar Chase, you got Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Davante in his prime, and you're like, okay, we're going against these guys. Well, he goes on the right. Well, okay, we're going to cloud the coverage there. He goes on the left.
We got to roll coverage. Yeah. We got to put things. Or yeah. we got guys who can.
It's the same thing he did for CJ when he swung out to the lineup on the lineup. It's the same thing he did for CJ. Hey, let's.
I always remember that when you have and Chad Brown is a perfect example. When you had a great pass rusher.
Yeah, you got to chip him. You got to find ways to slow him down. Not to
if he wear number 94, like Lawrence Taylor, 56. Where's 56? Where's
all right, where's he at?
You better know where 56 is. If you have a great receiver, if you've got a CeeDee Lamb, he goes in motion, nobody's going 88, 88. I don't think so. But if Micah Parsons goes from the left to the right, someone's going 11, 11, 11, alert to 11. And I think that in order to be in the first quadrant for receivers, you have to be that guy.
You don't think CeeDee's that guy?
I think CeeDee's that guy.
Yeah,
I think that guy.
I'm not saying CeeDee's the best receiver in the league, but I definitely think he's.
I could put Patrick.
There's some attention there.
I think I put Patrick. I put Patrick Surtain on him right now, and I'm not worried.
Yeah, but you can say that about a lot of players.
That's like. But there's only like
one of the best corners in the league.
There's only like three guys like Patrick Surtain
guarding him. Right. See, I look at it like this. This is from a player perspective. Take the Bill Belichick. Right. Revis wouldn't guard the number one for Bill. Bill said not too long ago, Revis will be on the number 2 so they can plan for number 1 if the number 1 wasn't a truly number 1. If you putting Patrick Surtain on CD, you're saying he's truly a number 1.
Well,
like what Revis would do against Demarius, right? God rest his soul, right? Like when we played him, you had Revis on Demarius because obviously Bill thought that Demarius can wreck the game, so let's get DT not to do that. But in other games, Revis will play number 2, and they will have a plan for the fake number 1 or slightly 1B, not true number 1, whatever you want to call it.
Because what you're saying, CJ, is that you have 2 ways to play it. One, you take your Surtain and you shut down your Jerry Rice or your whatever, or you sit there and say, okay, if we are going to double or cloud that they're number 1, then we'll do that because we think that if we do that, we'll be able to shut them down, and that way we then can take Surtain.
Take our number, we take our number 2, our number 1, and put them on number 2, and now they got nowhere to go with the ball.
Now they got nowhere to go.
Right.
That's right. If you want to do that, and so, but I do think in order to be a number 1 receiver, you got to be that kind of guy that people are going to be worried about you. So when you look at sort of the stats right now, right? So Nico Collins leads the NFL in receiving.
Yeah, but go look at last year. I mean, we can't talk about right now. Right now we can, but like last year, CD had like 17 or 1600 last year. Like you can't turn that away. You can't think you don't get 1600 yards if you ain't doing your thing.
Well, it's also interesting too now that the difference is between baseball, football, in terms of statistics, right? You guys are baseball nerds that you two are you
go Tigers.
You couldn't be happier with baseball's games this week, right?
Oh, it was awesome. It was good to watch.
Right, but so in baseball,
and I'm happy Houston lost. All right, it was great to watch.
Right, but in baseball, stats are really stats. Okay, meaning that if C.J. Anderson is a 300 hitter, you're a 300 hitter. It doesn't matter who you play for, whether it's the Angels or the Dodgers, the Rockies.
I'm a 300 hitter guy. Right.
And stats are stats, but in football, sometimes they get skewed You take, for example, the Broncos, even though they're second in the league in defense, and one of the reasons is they've never really been up that much in the game, so they're not giving up crazy yards,
Right.
right? You're up by 21 points. All of a sudden, we don't care. You can march down the field as long as you want, as long as
you want. I agree with you on that. That's the whole Davante thing, right? Like Davante's 31 years old, but how do we know Davante lost it? Even over the last 2 years, he's playing with quarterbacks that can't get him the ball.
Right. And so, right. And the other, sort of, like when you're looking at football, sometimes this team's got leads the league in rushing. Well, sure they do, because nobody's worried about them passing.
Nobody's worried about passing them.
And you're down 28-0. You could get 5 yards to carry all day, CJ. And I'm heading to the post-game press conference.
Right.
All right. So, Rob, here's a question for you now.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna see if I can open this in my app.
Oh, he went dark.
And the Schaefer goes dark.
Oh, he's trying to add it. Let's see what he does.
Hey, shout out to Simple AI, man, sponsoring us, right? Helping us do this. You feel me? I don't really know what Rob say, but I know Simple AI got our back.
Hey, be found in a complex digital world, right, CJ?
Yeah.
Hey, CJ, as Peter's loading this, the question I really wanted to get to you today is, as a player, is rivalry week a thing here? Like, are you like when you played for the Broncos? Did you like, oh, I can't wait to get to the Raiders? And
dude, I had 2 losses against the Raiders in my career, so no. Our rival was New England.
But is the rival in pro football, like in college right now? Like we have a great ACC rivalry this weekend between Cal and Miami. It's a classic ACC matchup, but we have any coast conference. And so, but then in the pros, do you have is it more for the fans in the rivalry, or is it the players? Is it more like who's stopping you from getting to your goal?
I think some of that division rivalry is in there, and some of that history is in there. But like, you get attached to like the teams you've seen multiple times. For us at that time, it was New England. Like I'm pretty sure for Baltimore, it's Kansas City, and Kansas City, it's Baltimore, right? Is Kansas City saying the Broncos are a rivalry or the Raiders are a rivalry? Yes, but they won the division so many times, so many years in a row. They're kind of like, our rivalry is these dudes who's trying to keep us from winning the Super Bowl, not these dudes we've been beating up.
Yeah, it's the team stopping you to get from your ultimate goal, not the team that's in your division.
Right.
Oh, Peter's muted. Yeah, Peter, you're on the wrong mic.
Whatever you did,
check your mic, Peter.
Student drivers crashed.
Hey, you know what? He's learning though. Hey, this is how we learn, right? So going into this weekend, CJ, too, we'll talk about the Bronco game here first. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
All right. So I went into the app.
Oh.
Now you're dark again.
Now you went back into the app.
You're killing our live show, baby.
I went into the app, and it wouldn't let me be the driver, and you couldn't hear me.
I don't know what you did.
It's interesting.
You check. Right, it's like you change screens.
Right, so how do I share my screen if I wanted to do something?
Hit the present button.
Where's that?
In the middle, it's got the monitor with a plus sign in it.
Monitor with a plus sign.
I'm going to record this segment and send it to clients, CJ.
Wait.
If you.
Wait. Where is it?
Hey, fellas, we want to say this show is completely different because Rob's not going to be with us on Sunday. We truly apologize. We're usually fast flow, but now we have Mr. Schaefer, right?
Hey, wait. A few times in the past.
Rob, help me, Rob. Where am I looking?
In the middle, there's a plus sign. There's the mute, stop cam settings, and then present. In the bottom middle, like by the Leaf Studio button and the invite button.
I got mute, stop cam settings, invite, Leaf Studio.
Oh, you're not able to present. I thought you would be on this. That's interesting. It's not on there.
Let me present, baby. Come on now.
You're set up as an admin. You logged in. You should be able to. I don't know how to tell you can't. Hey, CJ, next question as we get back to the sports. I do want to ask you then also see you on a bye week. Like the bye weeks, are they like baseball's a great example. Like some of these teams that have been sitting for a week, they might not want to sit for a week because they're just not in the flow and getting their at-bats live in games. But in football, did you come out rusty after a bye week, or you come back refreshed? What's a bye week from college, especially into pro? The difference
as a player, right? How you handle that bye week is essential, right? It's crucial, right? You have to, because you can feel out of shape just sitting down for 3-4 days. So like in our bye
Wait till you
weeks,
get to my age, CJ. You don't move for 2 days. All of a sudden, you're like, man, I gained 5 pounds. My percent body fat went
so in
up.
our bye weeks, I just remember my agent, along with my running back coach Eric Studesville, just remind me like we're gonna practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're pretty much gonna get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, right? Do something in those Thursday, right? It can be 30 minutes on the elliptical, or Pete used to tell me, hey, go run a couple sprints. Like, make sure you're doing something to keep your body going so you're not rusty and you're not. But also get rest and take care of your body, right? You've been banged up, you've been getting hit, you've been doing those things. So it's kind of how you handle that. Then as a coach, right, just playing or being able to coach collegiate the last 2 years and right, having my own high school program at one point, right? Getting those kids to understand that the bye week is about rest, but it's also about keeping your mind sharp and keeping that same focus. So when you come back, you're ready to go. I think some of the good teams, they have everybody come back on a Sunday. Like, hey, we're going to report Sunday night just to make sure everybody's in town, everybody's focused, everybody ready. So Monday, you know what's going on. But that's kind of how you handle the bye week as a player. You kind of sit down or you kind of take some rest, take care of your body, but make sure you're doing something. And then obviously enjoy the games, right? Don't completely get away from football. Watch football, but watch it as a fan. You don't need to like dissect it, break it down. That's kind of where I went wrong. That's my mind was always like that. But watch the games, talk, like have fun, right? Enjoy being a fan, right? For the weekend of football, because it's probably the only week you're gonna be able to do that.
No, absolutely. I want you to remind you guys, be found in a complex digital world. Go to simpler.ai. The link's in the description. You can also schedule an appointment actually with me if you want to get your organization set up with, being found in the digital world. It's complex out there. Help you out from programmatic marketing to being found on Google. Happy to help. Reach out. Love to talk to you. Going into this week with Raider Week, CJ, last I checked, the Broncos were favored by 2.5, which usually you get 3 for being the home team. So they're kind of going, we don't trust you. The trust isn't there with the books and the Broncos, which fair enough. Going in 2-0. Oh, he's kicking you out. See, he's changing us around. He's like, he's like, you don't let me talk. I'm going to change your head size. And but what do you think about the Broncos' chances of getting 3 in a row? Like, because everyone says like it's a week to week, but then it's hard to keep winning. Like, what's the tension here? Like, are we? Like,
the formula that they're winning at, I don't think you can sustain that formula. But they're growing as a team, right? Defense is playing lights out right now, right? Man, BJ is definitely auditioning for a head coaching job somewhere, right? And as these teams turn over next year, I do think they can get 3 in a row. But I also think what AP and them teach over there is that same relentless, come to play, come to work, even though they got all the distractions around. It's going to be a good game, right? There's 2 teams where quarterbacks are not, high level. Defenses are playing well, right? Playmakers got to make plays, and players got to execute. Coaches got to have right calls. But it's going to be a fun week because of it is Raider Week, right? Like, I never got to experience Raider Week in Vegas, but Raider Week in Oakland is a fun place to go.
Well, let me tell you this, Rob. Right, so when you go to as an agent, let's say the Raiders come to town on play Sunday, they'll come to town Saturday.
Yeah,
and you usually we'll go to the hotel to see the players. Either there's 2 windows, dinner time, or in between the meetings. The 8:00 meetings, which end at 9, and curfew at 11.
Yeah.
All right. So that's when agents get to go to the hotel or family gets to go to. There are 2 teams that are when they're staying there. You go with the Steelers, the lobby's crowded. Just everybody's wearing Steeler jerseys. They're wearing Steeler hats, and they know where the Steelers are staying, and everybody's positive. It's all Pittsburgh. You go to the Raiders. The people that you see at the Coliseum on Sunday, dressed in all their stuff, they are dressed like that on Saturday. They are in the hotel, and they are ready to go.
Yeah, and I don't know if Vegas Raiders give you that. The Oakland Raiders gave you that, right? And it's just fun to see, and I think you enjoy that part of the rivalry, right? Like, you don't I never got that vibe from New England, even though New England was our rival from our ultimate goal. But when you went to Oakland, right, or if Oakland came to us, you gonna hear them fans. You gonna see them fans, and it's Raiders all the way down. It's face paint. It's fingers at you. It's we don't like you. I hate you because you wear orange and blue. I don't hate you because you play for the Broncos. The fact that you just wear orange and blue, I don't like you. Right? And those the fans of the rivalry makes it fun. Like I said, I don't know how it is in Vegas, but when it was in Oakland, it makes it real fun for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right. And so when you're talking about the rivalries, I don't know right now if, as the Broncos, I really almost think that the Chiefs have taken over the number one rivalry. They really have. And I don't know if that's because the Raiders have been down or the Chiefs have been up, the proximity, whatever. But, that used to be the hallmark of the AFC West. You had these four rivalries, the Chargers, and they were in San Diego, and then, and the Raiders in Oakland, and it was a whole rivalry division. I think right now, though, it's the Chiefs. And so, yes, this game's important. And yes, this game matters to Broncos because, they can really turn the trajectory of their season. But I don't know if it's that same rivalry thing. It's sort of almost like what CU did when they lost Nebraska out of the Big 12. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Hey, CJ, I know you spent some time in Carolina thinking about this game. Is it Bo time? Is it Bojangles with Bo? Is it Bo time? Is he going to show up here now more for the Raiders?
Well, you're just asking the way the defense is playing. You're just asking him, bro, don't turn the ball over. Don't put them in short fields. Don't put us in bad positions, right? That's to win any game, right? And as Bo continues to learn and continues to grow, that's what you're asking from him. Right, Bo has to find a way not to turn the ball over, right? Not to put Vance Joseph in short fields where now you're asking Bo to do more than what you're asking him to do. So I think it's always Bo time, but it's in Bo time within Bo, which is, hey, don't turn the ball over, right? Don't make crazy mistakes. Try to stay ahead of the sticks, right? Keep our offense on the field and score enough points. Right, if we can score 17, I'm pretty sure our defense can find a way to win the game for us.
The irony of all this, especially this year, is when you look at the team statistics, and the Broncos' defense is number 2 and the offense is number 25. I'm just saying that, whoever had that ratio in the Vegas pool is retired now.
Yeah,
right.
And really, I think that. If you were to sit there and say we're at the quarter pole, split the season up 4 ways, who the MVP of the team is, and we're talking about the Broncos, and watch this, Rob. I'm going to switch the
okay.
If I could switch the banner here, say that now that who's the MVP of the Broncos? My MVP, and I'll let you tell me, CJ, is Vance Joseph right now.
Same. I got nothing. I love VJ. I love VJ as a player when he was my head coach. Right, I don't know if I should share that VJ story. When I was cut, just know me and VJ had a very emotional conversation. VJ knew I was the only one in the locker room riding for him and wanted to play for him. VJ told me it wasn't my fault, but business decisions had to be made, right? And I respected that from VJ. And I'm talking about emotional, right? VJ's emotional. I'm emotional, but we had a real conversation, and I've always respected VJ for that, and I always respected that VJ looked at me as a guy who ride for him in that locker room. I rode for VJ when he was our head coach. So to see him doing well and being successful brings a lot of joy to my heart because I know what type of person VJ is and what type of coach he is, right? So, yeah, my MVP, same with you right now. It's VJ. And then I probably would say it's the D-line. D-line is playing phenomenal, right? They are causing havoc, right? Not only are they grabbing sacks, but they're causing havoc and creating pressure, making things hard in the run game, right? Making these quarterbacks, right, very uncomfortable in the pass game. So what VJ got going on right now is great. It's just, can it be sustainable because the offense is so far behind? I don't want to say bad, but just far behind.
I love that question.
Rob, how do I make this thing slide on the bottom again now?
There's that. It's when you click on this and when you edit that there in the there's a box there to hit scroll. Make it a scroller.
I gotta edit it.
Yep, hit edit.
Got it.
There you go. And so I want to add. I love that answer with the defensive line and VJ as the MVP at the quarter pole. What about the room? I have a room that I think needs the most improvement, and I think I have a solution for it as well. what room, like what position group needs the most improvement in the Broncos for them to have success this season?
And what are we talking about success?
Hey, I'd say success would be above 500. That'd be good. Better would
Playoff
be making
contention,
the playoffs. Meaningful games and
games won.
Meaningful games in the fourth quarter of the season. Like we're going, oh, we got a shot.
You're saying
we got a shot.
What
room has to have that success?
What room has to improve the most?
The offensive coordinator.
I think it's on the offensive side.
Right? That room. Nah. So what room has to have success if they want to be successful? Obviously, the O-line's playing good enough to win. Obviously, the O-line can play better. Bo can play better.
I think Davante had a great week last week. But
I think Davante had a great week last week. But I think it's the play caller. The offensive staff has to have a better outlook, a better connectivity, whatever word you want to put in there, right? I'm throwing words out there. The offensive staff have to be better if the Broncos want to have success. That's just true. Are they doing well? Yeah, they're winning. They won the last two, right? Are they playing? But Sean definitely knows that they can't sustain winning like this. Sean knows that, right?
Peter, you ever run into someone who's got coach bias? He's a coach bias.
Never.
I think bias?
Personally, I think it's the receivers. The receivers have to step up and really become more impactful. That's what I think. We really need, and I think Cortland Sutton, I mean, he's got it in him. I always harp back to last year. One of the great plays maybe in recent Bronco history was the catch that Cortland Sutton had against Buffalo.
It was a hell of a play.
In the end zone, and that changed the trajectory of that game. I mean, they were up early, turnovers, boom, boom, boom. Then it got tight, and crunching time, and then he makes that play. And Russell Wilson threw it out there. It was a hail and a prayer, but Cortland Sutton made that play, and that's what the X has to do, and that's what he needs to do. Because I think he needs to do it to show people he can be that guy for next year. Because he's gonna, he thinks he's underpaid, and right now, he ain't playing like it.
Yeah. I think you're close, Peter. I think the room that needs, I've always said this time almost every week, I think it's the tight ends room. I think I have a solution to fix the tight ends too. I think the tight ends, they're usually one of the best friends to a young quarterback. Big target in open space, not deep down the field, all the stuff you want for a guy like Bo Nix. And so CJ and Peter, who historically in the NFL, what type of person has made the best tight end, like a Tony Gonzalez, a Winslow? What do those guys have in common?
They get open.
They play basketball.
They
play basketball. So I think we got to go talk to the Nuggets and recruit Aaron Gordon over to come play some tight end for us.
Or
find someone at the back of the.
It ain't that easy.
Aaron
Gordon don't want no part of this.
I think find like someone at the back of the bench. There's a 6'8" guy somewhere out there that's not getting the PT he wants on the Nuggets, and be like, hey, let's can we get a lease to own like package?
Let's break this down for your tight ends, right? Since I'm coach bias, right? How many opportunities have your tight ends had? Take a guess.
Dulcis just dropped more than he wanted to this year. That's for sure.
He dropped two passes. But how many tight end targets have you think been acquainted to them?
Well, I think that's an unfair stat. There might not be targeted because they're not getting open.
Well, they might not be targeted because the play call not coming to them. It works both ways.
It does.
It works both ways, right? You can run stick, you can run right, you can run certain things, right? There's stick lion, there's tosser, there's holster, there's 1,000 quick game plays to get the tight end the ball, in the flat right now, and get them going, right? There's plenty of that. This is not coach bias. I love Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton is one of the greatest play callers in our generation. What I do not like about Sean Payton right now is there is no correlation of what he wants. You can't tell me right now what Sean wants. I know what Sean wanted when he was in Dallas back in the day, when he was in New York back in the day. I know exactly what Sean wanted when he was in New Orleans back in the day.
I know what Sean wants. Protect his young quarterback. That's his franchise and that's his guy.
Right. So like what is Sean like? What is Sean trying to get accomplished? And it could be a personnel thing too, right? Obviously, you don't have Drew Brees, you don't have Alvin Kamara, you don't have Tiki Barber. If we start going back into his New York Giant days, right? Kerry Collins, it could be, Amari Toomer, right?
Jesse Palmer.
Wow. Yeah, JP. It could be all those factors as well. I'm not doubting that at all.
How many more wins would we have if we had AG there as tight end? Come on, man. Like going up to go get the ball.
Yeah, but right.
You have many wins. You have many wins is never mind.
But
AG being there is not it.
Rob,
I got nothing against AG, but AG no, he don't want to
come on. AG would be phenomenal as like just even a receiving tight end. Don't even worry about blocking. We got other guys that can't catch.
It's not that. I'm just telling you, it's not that easy because basketball players do not get hit like football players do.
Oh, I'm not arguing that.
And you just can't
AG is from the Bay Area with the Archbishop Mitty. I'm pretty sure he has no Archbishop Mitty football pictures in his high school days. He was a dominant basketball player. He was a 5-star recruit basketball player. That's the reason why you're that, because you put all your marbles in the hoop.
Hey, CJ, speaking. Hey, we got Sony jumping in here. He goes, CJ, you're a dog, brother. I wish you were in our backfield. Wish we had you in the backfield.
I will actually love some of the schemes and some of the things that Sean is doing in the run game. That fits my game very well. So,
hey, speaking of the run game, there was an article this week. I'm going to Coach CJ here, okay? Cecil Lamia for denversports.com had a question. Is Davante back? He played 59% of the snaps, 16 carries for 77 yards. Cecil implies that Davante needs more zone running and schemes to be successful. Is he right, CJ?
I love Cecil. Cecil had my back since I was a youngin. Cecil saw the potential in me before any of the media guys saw it in me. I think Cecil says that because of the Shanahan, right? The McVay, which is going back to Shanahan, right? The Alex Gibbs run game scheme, one cut downhill, get going, get moving. I think that will help Davante big time. But I also think this is a running game gap scheme downhill, right? Duo, couple inside zones with the slicers, right? This is downhill and getting going. I think the difference is it was raining. You saw the runs go. It was in rhythm. The play calls look good because now the execution is better. And because it's raining, we're stacking runs. We're not calling 3 runs in the first quarter, calling 8 runs in the second quarter, calling 2 runs in the third quarter, and then not trying to figure out if we're running the ball at all in the fourth quarter. We're running the football, right? And it's that, right? I think it's that. So I think.
See, you talked about duo, right? So
yeah.
I was watching some Raiders this week. They do not do any duo. It's all double team blocking on the D line.
No, that's what duo is. Double team, 600 on 300, 600 on 300, 600 on 300. You have.
Yeah, but then you get the second level though. Then the guy
eventually, as you move him,
Raiders
and you go to the second level. That's tough. Some guys can't come off, but that's what the Broncos do, and I think that fits Javonte game well. I think Javonte also needs to run with some more authority. I think he did that in the Jets game. One thing that we have access to, which I love, was Eddie George, right?
Oh.
And because I had access to Eddie, I'll never forget this conversation what Eddie told me. I learned a lot from Bussy through Pete. I learned a lot from Eddie through Pete, right? Eddie told me the same thing he told Derrick Henry. Bro, you're a strong, powerful guy. Make people feel that. Like, try to run through people. Stop, excuse my language, pussyfooting through the hole, right? Stop tiptoeing, right? Actually hit the hole with some authority.
Use what God gave you, right?
And I think that's what Javonte did. That's what Javonte did in his rookie year, and I think that's what he did last week. That got him no yards. Like, you realize, these dudes really don't want to tackle me if I'm really pounding them, over and over and over. Pause. Over and over and over.
Well, especially as, summer turns to fall and fall turns to winter and it gets cold.
Yeah.
And now it's not as bad as it used to be when they played on those AstroTurf fields at Three River Stadium and at Veterans Stadium that were already concrete, and you get a cold and, well, you don't want to get tackled on that thing. But in the first quarter, those corners will come up and they'll hit a CJ or Bussy or Eddie. In the second quarter, they might arm tackle them. In the third quarter, they're making business decisions.
Right. And I think you got to see that in Javonte, right? In his run. So I think the run scheme that they have for him helps. I think it's how frequently you're trying to get into that run scheme and what you're trying to do, right? Like prime example, right? When you look at as much as all the weapons that the Niners have, or as much as all the weapons that Green Bay has, right? It starts with what for them? The run. And that's what I mean by the play caller for Sean Payton. What does it starts with him? Right? What does it starts with him? And if it starts with the run and you know you're going to call no matter what's going on, right? Unless you're getting blown out. I'm going to call 25 to 27 runs a game, but I'm going to give 16 or 18 of these to this one guy and not split it between three.
So
let them get in the rhythm and let them get going.
Last week, the Broncos had 32 runs, 29 passes.
That's a good game.
The weather was not complimentary towards passing, especially in the first half. And of those, then you had McLaughlin had 21 touches, and Davante had 35. And then Beatty had the other 5.
That's good. Go look at Tampa, or go look at Seattle, or go look at
I'll look at which one you want me to look at. I'll call
any of the weeks where the weather was solid.
Hold up, Seattle. Here we go. Seattle versus this is gonna be Seattle versus Detroit.
It was pretty run or a pass heavy. I remember because we were talking about do they have to ice his arm up after the first few weeks?
Right. So Detroit, it was they only had 52 plays. Detroit 24 passes versus 26 runs.
Yeah, I mean keep that balance. And obviously Jared Goff was 18 for 18. Go Bears, right? Shout out to Goff.
All right, now let's.
There's another Cal guy.
Seattle.
Not too many Miami guys out there making plays. Sorry.
I think I just took a shot there. Am I bleeding? CJ, am I bleeding on that one? That was a good shot. Oh, that one hurt.
How about Seattle having 90 plays to Detroit's 56?
And losing the football game.
Losing the football game. Yeah. And then last night, let's see how many plays they had last night for the Falcons, right?
That was a great game last night. CJ was going off on the text thread about coaching decisions. Just so you guys know, in full disclosure with CJ, when he sees offensive coaching issues, he's equal opportunity. He doesn't just pick on Sean Payton. He picks on whatever game he's watching if he doesn't like the play call and the play schemes. I just so it's out there. Equal opportunity, CJ.
87 offensive plays yesterday for the Falcons. How many passes?
50, almost 60.
68.
Yeah, because bro,
was
threw
it
the ball
409
crazy.
yards for
509.
Cousins?
First 500 game yard this year. They let Kurt throw it, right? And it's crazy, right? You got a first round back in B. John, but you give more carries to Algier. I didn't understand that. I didn't like how Zach Robinson, they get the turnover with 2:36 left. I didn't like how Zach Robinson, right, called the run with 2:36 left. Like if you want to get a drive starter going in, like the quick game, right? Put you already got a but like what I mean by coaching is also read the flow of the game. You already have a guy who's already thrown for 400 yards at this point. So like, why are we? And I got nothing against the run. Obviously, I play running back, but in that time period, why are we trying to run the ball and we're down? We need to go down and score, right? Then I'm upset at Raheem for not punting it and going for it on 4th and 15. Made no sense. Obviously, they won the game, but these are things that wins cover up and don't get talked about by like media. Oh, the Falcons won, and look what Kirk Cousins did. No, bro, like this is an outlier. This is bad. You can't win games coaching like that. That's terrible. Now you won the game, and that's why they're jumping up, enjoying, having fun. But Raheem, you can't do that again, bro. Punt the ball, play with your 3 timeouts, right? You end up getting the ball back anyway, and it worked out for you, right, Zach? Zach, you got the floor of the game. You got Kirk Cousins on fire, and you try to run the ball. You go negative. Then the next play, now they know you're passing. So now, right, what did Todd do? Second down, blitz, another sack. Now it's 3rd and long, right? Like, what are we doing coaching-wise, right? And I lose my mind when I watch these games.
Right, but what happened in the last drive? Todd didn't blitz. I was like, what are you
Todd
doing?
didn't do it at all, right? He got Todd on his end. Go Todd. You ain't gonna.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you're just gonna let him sit back there and think. So it's you are right. I have equal opportunities when it comes to coaching. So I try to learn from those mistakes, so I don't make those same mistakes in coaching. And I look, when y'all start seeing me coaching, y'all have every right to call me out on stupid coaching, and I can go, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have did that.
All right, so CJ, Ray McLeod doesn't fumble the ball out of bounds. Do they have that 1 second they might not have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I don't know where we're like. The rules is if you're catching inside the numbers and you got no timeouts, you just get upfield and go down so you can get the ball back to the ref. Ray caught it inside the numbers and like tried to get out of bounds. Like Dude, you're in the NFL. That's not gonna happen, Ray. Like they're not gonna let you out of bounds.
How often do they talk about that in practices and like go over that? Like what's like when you're talking about like those little things and those nuances, end of game situations, like how often is that preached to the guys?
Good programs do, other programs don't. I.e., for example, when I was in Denver, we talked about it all the time, no matter what coach I had, right? Maybe because of the leader of Peyton, but Kubiak, Adam Gase, right? No matter who the offensive coordinator, Mike McCoy, who our offensive coordinator was, we talked about it all the time. One of the reasons why I wanted to get out of Carolina, I got nothing against Riverboat Ron. I have nothing against Norv Turner. I think Norv Turner is a good play caller, good offensive mind, right? But we didn't talk about those situations. And I'm sitting in there as a Bronco going, no wonder why we beat y'all in the Super Bowl. No wonder why we beat y'all week 1 next year, right? Week 1 next year in 2016 when y'all came down to Denver. No wonder why we beat, because y'all not talking about these little details in these little situations. Not only are y'all not talking about them, the leaders, right? They're not talking about them. So I was like, okay, yeah, Pete, I got to get out of here. We ain't trying to win here.
Well, I will, right? Because if the Falcons receiver, I think it was Moody or whatever, when he caught that ball at the end, he knew he ran right there and he spotted the ball.
Yeah, like fall, run to the hash. You know, look at the like. If you catch it deep, it's the back judge. If you catch it short, it's the judge behind on the opposite side hand of the quarterback. Run. He's coming. Make sure that he touches it. Line up, spike it. Boom. They kick the field goal. Koo makes it, go into overtime, and then obviously we know the rest of the story.
Because so many times you've seen teams with 8, 9, 10 seconds left, and they can't get the ball snapped and spiked.
Yeah, because part of it is they like hand the ball to the ref. Don't throw a ball to the ref because these refs are like us, right? Well, not me, but like you two can't catch the ball all the time, right?
Stone hands.
Right.
There's a reason I'm reffing and not playing, right?
Right. These old, and they're a little older, right? These refs are in their like 50s or 60s, some of them. But hand the ball to the ref, right? So make sure the ref is running to the spot. Get to the spot. Look at the line, judge, and get to the same spot. So when the ref gets there, you just hand the ball, he puts it down, you go line up, touch, we should be fine.
So CJ, I got a question for you then too. Is going into this weekend, we're 2.5-point favorites. What's your scoring prediction for the Broncos against the Raiders?
What's the over and under, Rob? What's the over and under?
The over under, let me double check. It's probably 17, I think. 17, maybe.
Over under 17. It's that low? No.
Could you imagine? Like
36. That's my guess.
35.5.
See, I'm taking the under.
Taking the under. Well, who do you guys have? Raiders, Broncos. Give me a score.
I don't have a score, but I do have the Broncos. Why? Because I love the old school unis. I love the old schools. Broncos rocking them old schools. Broncos gonna come play football. Them old schools go a long way, man. That just hype you up as a player.
I'm gonna give you a clue about the score, CJ. I'm gonna give you a clue.
Okay.
It's gonna be the first week the Broncos put a 3 in front of their number.
So you think Broncos are scoring 30?
I think they're putting up 30. I think the defense may have half of them, but I think they're gonna have a 3 in front of it.
Are the Raiders that bad in your eyes? That's a real question.
I think it's just the thing, like you said, momentum's going. I think the Raiders are trying to figure themselves out still.
You don't think the Raiders got any momentum jumping into it?
No, I just don't like the Raiders. I don't like the
Raiders are also 2-2 in the first quarter as well. They ain't like they terrible. They've lost some games they shouldn't have lost, but they also won some games they shouldn't have won.
Yeah,
they beat Carolina, arguably the worst roster in football.
No, they lost to Carolina.
I mean, they lost to Carolina, but right.
But they beat the Ravens.
And they beat the Ravens,
and then they beat the Browns last week.
Yeah, and the Browns are definitely struggling. 35.5. Max Crosby is a dude.
Is he playing?
I don't think he's playing.
He's not playing.
But they won without Max and Davante last week, and they're both not playing again.
Not playing.
Now, I will say this. I'm not a fan of Luke Getsy. It's another reason why I'm choosing the Broncos. I'm a big offensive coordinator guy, and I'm just not a fan of what you do. I'm just not a fan of what you do. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just not a fan.
And I think the one thing that, Vance Joseph's defense, when you have a guy like Gardner Minshew who's not as gifted as a Patrick Mahomes or some other players, I think that, VJ has shown that he can bottle those guys up.
CJ, all I'm saying is I think I think
I'm taking
Bo
the
Nix,
under. I'm taking the under.
I think Bo Nix may be responsible for about, say, 17 to 20 points in the offense, but I think you're going to get a touchdown with a pick six or a scoop and score from the defense, if not two of them.
Let's say the game goes 20-3, 16-3, somewhere in that range.
Come on, man.
If you think the Broncos are going to go score 30, all right, more power to you. I don't think AP and them giving up 30.
There's always a game like that when a team's struggling a little bit. They don't have an identity, where they have the Miami Dolphin Bronco game where they just give up more than they should, and guys sort of aren't there in the second half mentally.
Yeah,
I think
Miami had very talented players. Broncos don't have that many.
Broncos have some young, talented, opportunistic players.
Not like Miami.
I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the under too. But
Peter. Speaking of Miami, how bad is Miami going to beat Cal this weekend? They're favored by 10. The over/under is 732.
Are you talking about the University of Miami playing Cal or the Miami Dolphins? Because I think that they might struggle. Now, I think that what's the spread on that one, CJ?
732. It's Miami's the over/under.
And where's the game?
In Cal.
In Berkeley, baby. In the Burke.
Yeah, I think that Miami wins. I don't think that that's a long trip for Miami. Cal's going to struggle. You can wear the hat all you want. It's not going to help. And not helping.
Hey
CJ, are you going to the game, by the way?
Of course.
Okay.
We've beaten Crystal Ball before. We know Crystal Ball. We know who he is. Right? Cam Ward is an outlier though. Cam Ward is a hell of a football player. But don't be surprised this game is closer than what you think.
The over/under is 53.5.
I'll take the under on that though, unless it's a blowout.
53.5.
53.5.
Cal's gonna struggle to score. That's just Cal. They haven't scored big in any of their games. So unless Miami's putting up 40, then you get the over.
So hey,
but I'm taking under on that too.
Jeez, you guys are like, I like scoring. Clearly, I'm the guy. I always want the over. You
got glasses and still can't watch football. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard.
Hey, CJ, you know my football experience? I don't know if you realize my football experience. I was on a 500 team that played in a church league flag football team, and so I am a pretty solid football analysis. Like,
so what was y'all overs and unders at the church football league? I'm pretty sure y'all didn't hit y'all overs every game. It's hard to score. It's just hard to score.
It's hard to pull the flags off people when they tie the knot on it. You're like, come on, I thought I had you.
It's just hard to score.
Peter's the guy that ties the knot on his flags when he plays flag football. They don't Velcro off. He ties it on there like a knot, so it's like you just can't take it.
I don't. Flag. No, I don't. We don't cheat. We don't dishonor the game.
So, hey.
All right. So wrapping this thing up today, right, CJ? We're back for Raiders Broncos Sunday. I think that this is the best time of year. It's October. Football's getting meaningful. Baseball's finally, all games are meaningful. Basketball, Nuggets are in Dubai, for crying out loud, and hockey's starting. Is there a better month than October if you're a sports fan?
Nah, and then you get Halloween and candy, so it all works out towards the end of the month too.
Yeah,
I think other games that I'm interested in. Right, number 9 Missouri plays number 25 Texas A&M at College Station. That is going to be a strong
Missouri.
game.
Yeah,
right. That's going to be a strong game. Obviously, good old Golden Bears host the Miami Hurricanes, right? Last time the good old Golden Bears host the Miami Hurricanes, Javed Best ran all over them. So I'm pretty sure Rob remembers that. I was actually at that game at the Emerald Bowl. Javed just went crazy, right?
Michigan State versus Oregon tonight.
Michigan State versus Oregon tonight. I think that's
another
a good one.
Classic Big Ten matchup.
Another good one people are not talking about. UNLV hosts the Syracuse Orange tonight. I am actually interested. That was one I'm going to be watching heavily. Like, UNLV is has a chance to make the college football playoff as a group of 5. And they've already beat 2 Power 5 teams. This is the 3rd Power 5 team. They should win the Mountain West with no problem. But UNLV being 5-0 will be interesting if they beat 3 Power 5 teams in this. This will be fun to watch.
4 weeks ago, if you were to sit there and say who's favored and who's going to be ranked, it was not going to be UNLV by 5.5. And they're ranked.
Right.
That coach does a heck of a job there.
Yeah. Barry Odom came from Arkansas.
in the pros, which games are you looking forward to this weekend, CJ?
So I love the Ravens and the Bengals, right? It's just something about Cincinnati, right? You can't count them out as long as they got Joe Burrow. They got them at home. This is going to be interesting, right? You also got the Colts and the Jags. Do the Jags find their first win, or does Flacco save it, right? I think Anthony Richardson, right, who says the NFL is easy, right? His words, not mine, right? Who's hurt? I think Flacco coming in for the Colts helped them out. And what about this game, right? The Dolphins and the Patriots. Who would have ever thought that the Dolphins and the Patriots, right, will have a game where it's two young rosters, right? It's a shit show over there. I also like the Bills and the Texans, right? I don't know if Joe's playing this week, right? I don't want to put that out there, right? Pete would know that. I don't want to give the Bills no competitive advantage, right? I don't know if Joe's playing or not, but I think the Bills and the Texans, right? I think that's a good one.
What about the Cowboys and the Steelers?
That's
I was going to get to that
circled
next, right? Cowboys and Steelers. That's a good one, right? Can last time they was out there, right? Zeke ran all over him. Had an 80-some yard screen for a touchdown. I'm gonna give you another one that's interesting. Panthers Bears, right? How does Caleb Williams look, right, at home against the Panthers, right?
Probably look pretty good.
I think this is gonna be interesting, right?
And then you got the Jets. You got the London game with the Jets and the Vikings.
And then you got the London game, right? Does the Jets play better, look better against the Vikings, or does Sam Darnold still play at a high level?
And speaking of which, the game goes on at 7:30 Sunday morning.
Yeah, 6:30 my time.
Right.
All right. So
do you wake up and get like a breakfast burrito, CJ? Like, is that
wake up and watch football?
I'll be on the bike and the treadmill watching that thing.
Yeah, I'll just wake up and watch football. So there's actually some good games in the pros that I can't wait to watch. And like Pete said, it's October, right? Football is starting to get a little bit more meaningful and a little bit more serious. These teams are starting to find identities of who they are and what they're going to be. Some teams, some teams feel like they're out of it. Some teams, like the Jags, right? The Jags has been in this position before, 1-3, and Doug Peterson turned that around and made the playoffs that year and beat the Chargers, right? So it's like here's that niche and that edge of here's the teams that are going to go this way, here's the teams that are going to go backwards. So it's very interesting to see what that looks like.
So as we wrap this up, Peter, you got something?
No, I was going to say, yeah, let's go rapid fire, wrap it up.
Two rapid fire questions for you. What happens first? The Jags win a game or the Chiefs lose a game?
I think Jags win this weekend.
I think the Chiefs lose.
And then who's the best tight end in Colorado? I'll answer that. AG, Aaron Gordon, come to the Broncos. Catch touchdown passes from Bo Nix, Aaron Gordon, please.
Keep getting your dimes from Jokic, big dog. Keep getting your dimes from the Joker, right? They're probably more accurate. They're probably more accurate than Bo Nix.
Send a tribute from the G League. Send a tribute from the G League at least. Send someone.
Keep getting dimes. Hey, keep getting that guaranteed money from the NBA. Don't come over here to us.
Not happening. All right, we'll see you guys on Sunday.
See you guys, and hey, enjoy the Cal game, but not too much, CJ.
Oh yeah, I ain't going. Me, I don't drink, but I'm gonna be up there talking that talk.
Hey, send some pictures.
I'll send you guys losing of the scoreboard.
Hey guys,
Rob, stay on.
Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Do you want to hit the end stream, Peter?